Hello and welcome to the Victorious Living Solutions podcast. I'm Dr. Nikeya Young, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. It's going to be a good one. We have an amazing guest with us here in our virtual studio. So let's welcome Miss Melanie Denny. Woo, 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 woo. So let me tell you all some background about her. Now, her bio is long, but I'm just going to give y'all a snippet and then we'll let her tell us some more about who she is and all the amazing things that she does. Melanie Denny is a personal branding consultant, self-marketing expert, certified LinkedIn strategist, and founder of the Empowered Presence framework designed for brilliant women of color to gain visibility and capitalize on new opportunities beyond the 9-to-5 through the power of personal branding. Melanie has been featured in Forbes, HuffPost, Yahoo News, Fast Company, NBC News, and countless podcasts sharing self-marketing tips and tricks. She has been invited to speak to national organizations and nonprofits across the world on career topics, including LinkedIn, personal branding, networking, and career empowerment. That is Miss Melanie Denny. So I guess you guys are like, ooh, that's a lot. What are we going to talk about today? We are talking about the topic, sis, take command of your brand. Take command of your brand. The theme, if you are new here for this season of the podcast, is Women in Command. And so we're going to talk about taking command of your brand today. So welcome. Let's get into it.
Yes, thank you so much for that warm welcome. I am so excited to be here to chat with you today. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. So, y'all, we didn't plan this at all. We just hopped on and we're twinning with our red. And I love it because red is a color that screams, I'm in command. And that's what we're talking about today. So, just in case y'all wonder, they dressed it like on purpose? Nope, that was not intentional, but look at God. All right. So, let's talk about this personal branding thing. How long have you been into personal branding and strategizing? Is that something that you've always done or something you pivoted into? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so funny enough, I had been doing personal branding work for my clients as a resume writer for since like 2008, 2009. And it was really all about helping them to determine what is their uniqueness, what is their differentiating factor, what makes them special, and then being able to articulate that to potential employers. And so, after like 13 years of that, I was like, okay, I'm kind of over the job search thing. And I needed something different that was still in alignment with my skill set and who I was and what I believed in. And I had done the resume thing for a long time, but there was always something in the back of my head, like, something just feels out of alignment with this. And really it boiled down to like, I never really resonated with the whole corporate journey of climbing that ladder personally. And so, but then here I was slanging resumes, selling the dream of climbing that same ladder. I was really, really, really good at it. Exceptionally good at it. I mean, I've won awards for it. You've heard I've been, quoted all over the place for expertise. And my clients were getting new roles that they were excited about in leadership to the tune of anywhere between 15 and 50K salary increases.
Nice.
But again, it just wasn't in my heart. It wasn't me. And so I had done a digital marketing course and I got certified in that. And through that course, I really, really realized the part that kind of kept me there and kept me going was me helping them to realize the value they brought into the world and help them to advocate for themselves. And that was really the core of the work I did, which is really personal branding. And so I decided to pivot in December of 2022 and still brand executives, but focusing in on women of color and making it broader than just, I'm looking for a job, making it more about the impact they wanted to make, making it more about if they wanted to start a business, if they wanted to go into consulting, if they wanted to speak on stages, how can they now market themselves beyond a job interview to really make an impact? And so that's kind of how my story goes as it relates to the personal branding work that I do.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And it is very important work indeed. You guys, I had the opportunity. Melanie is also a podcast host. You have to check out her podcast, Empowering Presence, or Empowered Presence. Did I say it wrong? Empowered Presence. Go check it out. It is awesome. We did an episode on there entitled Is Black Girl Magic a Myth? And in that, I'm not even going to tell you all about it because it is one of the best podcast interviews I have ever done. And I want you to go back and check it out for yourself. But we had that conversation about how Black women, there's nobody coming to save us. We have to put on our superhero cape and save ourselves and launch businesses and not worry about, trying to convince other people to see our worth. We have to see it ourselves. So tying that discussion into this one, when people are trying to get started, just go there. Like, what is personal branding? I want to start a business. I'm done climbing the corporate ladder to how do I brand myself? What is a brand? Where do I start? What would you say to
Love
people
this
like
question.
that?
Yes, I love this question because you'll hear people say, everyone has a personal brand. I used to say that too. I'm not going to hold you. I used to say that too before I really dove deeper into this work. And I realized, like, no, everyone does not have a personal brand. Everyone has a reputation, right? And that's a little bit different because personal branding is actually an intention, right? It is the active work of showing up and putting yourself out there and building authority and building community and shaping the perceptions of the people you want to reach about some idea, about you, about whatever. And all of this for some end result.
Yeah.
Right. So you having a reputation is just how you go about, work or life or whatnot. But the personal branding comes into play when you decide, I want to put myself out there for some purpose, some end goal.
Yeah.
And I need to make sure people understand my goals and are able to get on board with what I'm saying or how I'm doing things and able to, in order to change things or make an impact for my own life or for the life of others. That's what personal branding is all about. It's not just, oh, everyone has a brand. No, you don't get on Oprah's level by accident.
Come on now.
You have to work at that.
So what I'm hearing you say is, that's really good. The difference between, and there is a difference, the difference between your personal brand and your reputation is intentionality. That's
absolutely
what I'm hearing you say.
That's it right there.
Intentionality. I love it. So starting from nothing and building a personal brand, what are some of the first steps that people should take? Because the first thing most people want to do is they go, okay, I'm trying to build my personal brand. I need a website.
Right.
But what are you going to put on it?
What you going to put on the website?
Yeah.
So
what should be the first step?
So I think the first step that a lot of people skip is really that foundational work, right? So like you said, when you think personal branding, you just think billboard, I'm out here, content, and it's like, yeah, we'll get there. But why are you showing up? Where are you showing up? How are you showing up? It really boils back down to a sense of self-identity and knowing and understanding who you are as a person, as a human, as a professional, and then connecting who you are with the people that you want to touch, impact, influence, and really getting clarity around your messaging, right? Getting clarity around who you want to impact, right? Because you may have a great message, but you're speaking to the wrong people. Right? There could be a mixed mess of all type of stuff. But once you get that clarity, I think the first step is really knowing and understanding why you're doing this work. What is your deep why? Right? I know a lot of people say, what is your big why? Well, my big why could be, I need $1 million. That's a big why.
Yes.
But is it deep? Right? Because the $1 million is never the end result. You want that million for something else. There's something on the other side of the money. And so I really like to help my clients start with that deep why. And then we can start the other pieces in terms of, okay, you want to see more Black women in tech, for example. That's your deep why. Yeah. So in the future, when you, after doing all this work and putting yourself out there, what does that now look like? And so having that vision and that personal mission, I think those are the pieces that a lot of people just skip over. And I think it helps when you're in the trenches and you know your why, it helps you get through the hard times.
Yes.
Right? The times where you feel like no one can hear me, no one is listening, no one's liking my posts, my website's dry, my email's dry. Mm-hmm. You have to go back to that deep why.
Yes.
And I think some of those things are the foundational pieces before we get into photo shoots, right? And websites and logos and all of that. Because when you hire someone to do your website, they're going to ask you some deep questions about what's the message? What's your brand? What is your, who are you talking to? All those questions need to be answered for you to have a strong brand. So I think those are some of the places I would tell people to start.
Yes. And I can say, as someone who, we have a family business in addition to Victorious Living Solutions, it's YCS Web Agency. And so my husband designs amazing websites. And that is one of his biggest frustrations. Is it doesn't happen often, but every now and again, he'll get some clients that come to him and want him to make this award-winning website. And he's like, okay, what are we going to put on it? Like, what's your brand? What's your this? What's your that? And in getting those consultation questions, it's like, you don't really have a business yet, but you want to spend all this money on a website. And so he will have to tell them, honestly, I'm not going to just I could build you a website right now, but when you come back and you get all of those pieces in place, you're going to need a whole nother one. It's not wise for you to spend all of this money on a website right now. We could do a one-pager, just a place, so you have something, so that you have purchased the domain and you have it on hold. You have a centralized place for someone to go get your bio and tell you, you can do that. But also, you could just use your LinkedIn profile for that. And then when you get more pieces together, come back and see me, But yeah, that I'm glad you said that. he's like, okay, you want to start with a website? I ain't got nothing to put on here. Which leads me to my next question. Besides that, the website thing, what are some of the other common branding mistakes that you see people make?
Oh, I think sometimes a big mistake I see people make is really just kind of hiding behind accolades, hiding behind certifications, hiding behind degrees, hiding behind years of experience, and not putting themselves at the center. That makes sense. So what I mean by this, like, here's an example of someone doing this. And I know, because I used to do it. When I was writing resumes, I would be like, resume tips here, here's how you optimize your LinkedIn profile, and just give it all the expertise in the world. But that's not really me. That is something you could Google.
Gotcha.
Right. And so I feel like we don't infuse enough of our personal story and put it out into the world so that people can actually connect. Storytelling is like the number one way to connect humans, because it lights up, I think it's 23 different parts of the brain or some crazy number like that. And people remember your stories 5 times more than like facts and figures. Right. So if you want to give a tip, humanize it and talk about either a client or you and how you use this tip, because now the people reading that will see, wow, she gets it because she had the same struggles that I did. So she must be able to help me because she understands me. And I think we don't do that enough when we try to build a brand. I see so many people, posting on LinkedIn, they put out tips or just like a motivation thing with zero context. And it's like, move us a little bit more, right? Put a little more emotion behind it, because that's what people are going to buy into when it's time to like buy into something. They want to know you, the person behind the tips. how does this work for you? Or how has this shown itself to work in the real practical sense? So I think that's a big mistake I see a lot of people making. They're not putting themselves into their content enough.
Whew, that's good. Now, we may have to camp out right here for a minute because that can be a multi-layered onion. And this is why I say that. For some people, they may not be doing it just because they didn't even think about it. Oh, wow, I never considered that. For other people, the mental health coach in me says, this is a trauma response. This is a trauma response. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. When you grow up or you have past experiences where being you was not accepted, or I don't even want to say not accepted, where people in your life who should have been looking out for you looked for vulnerabilities so that they could exploit them, then you have this trauma reflex to put up walls and only give people so much of you. And if you have not healed from that past trauma, you'll do it on autopilot and not even realize you're doing it. I'm not going to tell them people my business because nobody's going to be trying to use that to try to figure out this. And I ain't telling them people. I'm going to give them surface level, and that's enough. Well, what protected you in one season can be harming you in another season. So that's just some food for thought. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I love that you mentioned that because, in my program, Empowered Presence, we go through a lot of that mindset stuff. And that's why my clients be like, oh, this is therapy. And I'll be like,
yes,
I need an extra, I'll send you another bill for that because I'm no therapist. But it's so true what you're saying. Like the trauma behind showing up fully, especially in our community as, women of color, it can be stifling. And what I would say to someone going through that, you got to do some work. You got to do the unsexy work to be able to really face these things and recognize that this is not the same as that. And if you're not ready, if you're still, not healed, don't share that story. I'm not telling you to share stuff that's going to trigger you. Absolutely not, because you're not ready. Because someone's going to say some one thing and you're going to break down and shut down and it's going to be a mess. Don't do that. That's why I say that foundational stuff is so important, because if you really are able to take a look at yourself and truly start with, why have I not already been showing up fully? And digging into that stuff, you can start to recognize why. And now you can start to all right, let's start this healing process so that I can move forward with my goals. Because at the end of the day, sharing your story is so much more empowering and powerful, more than a lot of people recognize.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I will tell y'all, if you out there and you struggling with this, don't feel like you out there by yourself. Okay. This is one of those things that you may do really well at in one season, and then another season, you may find yourself closing off again subconsciously and not even realize it. I have done it. Okay. I have done it. And sometimes I have to just remind myself, this is a safe space. I can share a little bit of this. I can share a little bit of that. Now, you have to use wisdom. Like she said, you have to use wisdom. This is not the time to tell your deepest, darkest stuff that you're still working through. You can talk about that in your prayer closet with Jesus, or journal it and talk about it with your therapist. But just things like lessons learned and things that people can relate to, share it so people know you're not like this robot that's void of basic human experiences. So
absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
Amazing stuff. Okay, so we talked about some of the biggest mistakes. Let's talk about, because you do personal branding strategy and you have clients that you coach, what has been some of the biggest triumphs that you have experienced when doing personal branding for other people?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think honestly, for me, they get what they want in terms of, the engagement, and they get the media features, right? And I've even got brand deals and all type of stuff happening as a result of them putting themselves out there. But for me, I feel like the biggest triumph is when I see them switch and show up with that empowered presence.
Yes.
Right? And it's like before, they're like second guessing themselves. They're like, I don't know, this is not perfect enough. I can't do this. I can't do that. Mel, I don't know. I don't know. And by the end of it, they're like, oh, I know exactly what's going on. I don't need anybody else's input. I feel like that transformation is what does it for me. Because at that point, you could do whatever. Because you are mentally aware of your strengths. You know what you're doing. You understand your deep why, and you are clear. That clarity piece is amazing. I had a young lady she does professional organizing.
Okay.
And when she came to me, she was like, I feel like I kind of know what I want to say, but I don't know. I still don't know how to say it. I don't know. Like, she was very like unclear. And, we went through this entire process. We went through the coaching and things like that. And there was a lot of, childhood upbringing stuff that kept her stuck in the pursuit of perfection. And once we saw that, recognized it, then she was able to pinpoint why she's not moving and realize done is better than perfect.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and do this, right? And embracing her and who she actually was and the things that she really loved and the things that she wanted to do with her business. And she knew she didn't want to just organize. It was bigger than that. And really working through all of those things. And I had put this on my LinkedIn profile the other day about her and how she hadn't seen some folks in like a year. And she went to this conference and people just kind of kept saying, you seem different.
I love that.
And she was like, Mel, people actually noticing. I didn't really say much. I just walked in the room and they were like, something about you.
But I'm sure how she walked in the room was
exactly. Yes. She had an empowered presence. So she walked in because you have that sense of knowing, that sense of comfort in who you are. People are going to feel that energy. And I think that is the biggest triumph for me.
Yes. Now, I will say that is a huge triumph. I can relate because we over here at Victorious Living Solutions, we empower high potential leaders to crush their goals and live victoriously. And seeing that come up, that confidence come up. How do you prepare your clients for the converse of that? Now, some people can see you look different, or something about you is different, and they're excited about it. But what happens when all the time they're not so excited about it? Have you had clients have issues with that?
When other people are not excited about their
glow? Their glow, they have this empowered presence, and maybe that becomes misunderstood. They're just like, because people get used to you train people how to treat you by how you show up in the world. So if people are used to you showing up in the world without the empowered presence, and they're used to handling that version of you. And then you go see Coach Melanie, and now you got this empowered presence. And it's not that you think you're better than anybody. You just are more in tune with who you are, who God's created you to be. And you're showing up that way. And it's triggering some people. And the irony of this is the people that be triggered is mainly the people that need your help. But they get triggered. And sometimes that can have a negative impact. So I was wondering if any of your clients have ever mentioned that, like, oh my God, this happened and I got this opportunity and that opportunity, but also some people I've been friends with all my life just stopped wanting to be around me. And now I'm depressed because I'm losing friends and I'm losing family members. Yeah.
So not so much of that. At least they haven't been sharing it with me. I'm only getting the good stuff. For the most part. But what I would say to
have you experienced that yourself?
Well, I already have a big personality that everybody can't handle. I've known
I love
that
it.
for a long time. I mean, I've been called everything from B word to
Oh
rude,
no.
disrespectful, all the things just because I'm raw, right? I'm unfiltered, and some people can't handle it and some people love it. People that love it, let's rock, let's roll.
Mm-hmm.
People that can't handle it, I'm just not your cup of tea, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, if that's just the case where you have transformed and now people are like, ooh, trigger, what's up with her? Oh, she better, da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to carry on your growth and embrace who you are and recognize that I'm too much for them now and it's okay.
Mm. Yeah.
And just being okay with not being accepted by everyone, because you're not for everyone. I say when I had my struggles with this transition, I was hesitant on calling out that I work with women of color or Black women. I was really like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this, because the internet trolls be on you.
Yeah.
And my husband said something to me that sticks with me all the time. He's like, it doesn't matter. You're going to have a third of people that love you no matter what. You're going to have another third of people that can't stand you no matter what. And the other third don't care either way. So doesn't matter what you do, there's always going to be that divide. So just do you and let everybody else fall into place however they will. Another analogy I like to use for that is like, think about Jesus, right? Everybody knew who he was. He died on the cross, all this stuff. They murdered that man. Jesus. He had a lot of people who loved him, and he had a lot of people who hated him. On the other end of the spectrum, you got people like Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people rallied behind him, and a lot of people hated him. I am nowhere near those two extremes. Right? So why can't I have my people just like they both had their people? Because I'm on two totally ends of the spectrum. And it just, you just have to understand that you're not going to be for everyone. Even people that you thought were there with you, ride or die, sometimes it's okay to still love them from a little bit more of a distance. Yeah. But you should not, force it. You should not force them to accept you. That's on them. And also, you should not allow them kind of like having an issue with you dim your light back down.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents on that.
I love it. I love it. I mean, anytime you show up as your full authentic self, it's gonna be somebody somewhere that's not gonna like that. But, we can't allow ourselves to hyper focus on the people that are hating and miss all the people that absolutely love it. Love what you do. I'll give you a good example of that. So about a week or so ago, I went to an event, and I'm saying a week or so ago, we pre-taped. So by the time y'all see this, it'll be a few weeks ago. But I went to an event, and I let my followers know, my email list people know, different things that I have coming up. Hey, here's some exciting updates, and here's an event that I'm speaking at. I'm going to be in the Capitol, and there's this prayer event. Meet us there. Here's the link if you want to join us. The Capitol is like a few hours drive from here. If you can't join us, keep us in your prayers. And I talked about a few other things on there, and we're filming new episodes, new seasons kicking off soon. All right, bye. Basically, is the gist of the email. Now, anyone who knows me, really knows me, knows that I'm a Christian and my faith is a huge part of who I am. I'm an ordained minister. Like, even back when I did entertainment stuff and modeling and all of that, I was just like, there's certain things I'm not going to model. And that was off-putting to some people. Now, I never judged anybody else for what their personal standards were that they set for themselves. But for me, Like, you were never gonna see Nikeya on the runway with all her tatas out and her butt hanging out, and that wasn't who I was. And if anybody ever did see it, they would probably be like, "Oh my God, is she okay?" Because it would be so out of character for me. So that's just me and my faith. That's just who I am. This one person, now I've been doing some media appearances, so I have some new people. So this person is clearly new here. This person clicked on the link to the Call to the Capitals event that I attended, and they were so offended that I was going to that event. Now, let me tell you what Call to the Capitals was. It was an awesome event, took place on April 13th in all 50 states across America. And essentially, what we were gathering to say was, don't mess with our kids. We were not coming against gay people, LGBTQ, whatever people. We were simply saying all of this stuff that our government is putting in the curriculums is basically porn, is not appropriate for children. It should not be there. Like, the laws that they were passing, not even the stuff they're putting in the curriculums, the laws that they're passing against parental rights, it's a whole bunch of demonic stuff going on in the school system. And I've seen it firsthand because I used to be a teacher. And that was 10 years ago. It's way worse now. Off my soapbox. So anywho, that was the event. And in the event, the lady who organized it, she said, we're not putting up, if you guys want to bring posters, do not bring any posters talking about what you are against. Only bring posters talking about positive things that you are for. You know, we're going to gather at the Capitol. We're going to pray. We're going to have a peaceful demonstration. We're going to go home. And that's what it was. It was beautiful. I was excited about it. I was like, yay. Now, I wasn't on the list of speakers, but I sang. I led a worship song. And I came home on a high about my event. Like, God moved. It was awesome. I opened up my inbox on Monday to check my messages. This lady sent me this mean email like, I will no longer, she writing in all caps.
Oh, she was big mad.
She big mad. I'm just imagining her. What's that meme with like
looking like Kermit the Frog?
I will no longer support you in your agenda anymore because I'm a proud LGBTQ mom. Okay, good for you. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, I'm like, okay, what do they used to say on Clubhouse? Let's reset the room.
Yeah.
Let's reset the room. You know, if you're new here.
Yes. That's funny.
Don't act shocked and appalled when you hear or see me, a whole ordained minister, talking about the kingdom of God and standing on biblical principles.
Right.
I mean, if that's not you, that's not how you get down, this might not be the place for you.
Right.
But don't go sending me no email like that's going to change something.
You just
like, I'm
unsubscribe.
The unsubscribe button is right there.
Right there.
At the bottom of the email. Boop. And that would have been such a better use of your time.
Yeah.
To click that.
Seriously. Because she didn't accomplish anything.
You accomplished nothing.
She got some stuff off her chest, maybe. She vented. Right,
I guess.
But other than that.
It's like, okay, it's not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. Child, but that's the risky one. When you show up as your authentic self, there's going to be some people that are like, oh my God, thank you so much. I admired you. Like, I was trying to do some things and I didn't have the courage. But when I saw you do it, when I saw your vulnerability, when I saw you show up as your full self, I thought, let me come out the closet and step out here and do my thing too. Yay. Right. It's going to be those moments. Yes. And then it's going to be some moments like old girl that decided to send me this email from her company email, which who does that? If you go send an out-of-pocket email, don't be subscribing to people's lists and acting crazy from your work email.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's not do that, especially in cancel culture. Let's not do that. But yeah, it's going to be some people like that that's like, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's, You're not my cup of tea. I don't want to support you no more. Okay.
Yeah.
And be
Yeah.
okay with that. Be
Yeah.
okay with that.
Yeah. But I feel like no matter what, even if you were faking the funk, there was still going to be people like that. You see what I mean? So might as well
You
do what
might
makes you
as
happy. Be
well.
you.
Yes. Be you. Everyone else is taken. And,
Facts.
you know.
And if you don't have haters, you ain't doing nothing.
That's your sign that you made it.
Yes.
That's your sign that you made it. I was like, now y'all, this is just me being silly right now. Don't be like, oh, we gonna send her a bunch of hate emails. Don't. Don't. But it was like my first hate email. I really did print it out. Like, mama, I made it.
Wow.
You just have to laugh at ignorance. Like, that's all you can do. Is just laugh at it. Just settle into your mind that everybody is not gonna like you, and that's okay.
And that's just fine.
And that's just fine. Yeah. Anywho, off that. I had to throw that in there. I'm like, look, y'all, we talking about this personal branding and taking command of your brand, but just know somebody ain't gonna like it, and be okay with that. Like you said, you hesitated about talking about you specifically help Black women. For me, I wouldn't say it was that I hesitated talking about my faith, but I just was not. There was a time when I was just like, I just don't feel like dealing with people. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna say it, but I'm like, I just don't feel like dealing with ignorant people today and their assumptions about, because it could be somebody that had a really bad experience in the church. And so now they just hate Christians or whatever. And so now here I come talking about my faith and they just like, ugh. Now, see, I was going to work with her, but now she one of those people. And
but see, that has nothing to do with you.
It doesn't. That's a them problem.
Exactly.
It's a them problem.
We can't go around
no control over it.
Being responsible for everybody and where they're at in life and their, their hurt and all the things that they bring. We can't. That's too much for one person to try to carry everybody's stuff.
Yeah. So, girl, that's a whole other podcast. So we go.
I feel like we could do a few different spinoffs.
A few different spinoffs. Child, I'm over here jotting down some little notes. I'm like, it could. Just saying. But for the purposes of today, I'm gonna try to keep this train on the track. All right, so let's talk about social media. Social media has been a really helpful tool in getting your personal brand out there, but it has its drawbacks too. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you see people making on social media? We talked about LinkedIn a little bit, but
a little bit.
We can talk about the other networks too.
Well, I'll tell you what, social media.
She had to adjust her glasses. Oh God.
I have a love-hate relationship with social media.
Me too.
I deactivated my Facebook back in September last year. And it was the best thing I did for my mental. And I was in a meeting, like a Zoom networking thing, and I was talking about how I do, personal branding, and I do content writing as well for clients. So that looks like, LinkedIn posts, Facebook posts, newsletter articles, blog posts, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And when I said I'm not on Facebook, this one young lady was like, oh, well, you do content. How are you not on? You're not taking advantage of Facebook. The thing is with social media, what I want everyone to understand is not every social media platform is for you. You have to pick, you have to be throughout all of this, y'all. Don't throughout all of this, your mental health comes first.
Yes.
First.
Absolutely.
And for me, Facebook was taking me down a road I was not trying to go mentally. And I recognized it and I deleted it from my space. And so definitely you want to leverage social media, but I did a whole podcast episode about, can you build a personal brand without social media? Because there's study after study after study about the negative effects social media can have on on our just well-being.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you're not able to manage that and be able to do it in a healthy way and consume in a healthy way, and versus comparing and obsessing over the likes and the vanity metrics, that is not going to be a good use of your time.
Yeah.
So I would say about social media, use it if it's not a detriment.
Yeah.
To your mental health, and recognize that it is. And because for a long time I was forcing myself to stay on Facebook for business.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I can't stand this, but whatever. I got to post something to try to, I don't care no more. Y'all can leave Facebook over there where y'all at. My jam is LinkedIn. I feel better.
I love LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's where I spend my time. But there are other ways outside of social media that you could build your personal brand. You could do, YouTube is slowly becoming a social media type of vibe with the comments and stuff. But, YouTube is a great place. You could build your own communities, right? Inviting people to like a circle community, a Slack channel, whatever that may look like, right? But you still want to be somewhere on the internet, because that's where a lot of people go to try to like validate who is this person.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the world we live in now. So you do want to have some type of online presence. So I would say pick one social media site to start, go hard there, kind of master that. And then maybe, I'll start dabbling in some other sites. But if you're trying to be all the places at the same time, and you don't have help, and you're not able to like, hire out support, woo, you're going to get real tired real quick.
You're going to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs trying to keep up with all of it.
Yeah. Girl. And then the other thing too is that there's a nice healthy balance between where you like to be and where your people are.
That's true too.
So I like LinkedIn, but my people are LinkedIn. I deal with, professional women in leadership, entrepreneurs, business owners, executives. They're on LinkedIn. So I'm good. But like, if you are trying to do something a little bit more, I don't know, artsy, maybe Pinterest should be your jam. You know what I mean? But you also have to like Pinterest, and your people are probably there. So I would say kind of assess where you like to be, and then make sure it's also where your people are showing up.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Girl, at least you deactivated your Facebook. Child, Facebook deactivated me.
What do you mean?
Girl, it was like 2020. Did I say that? Yeah, 2020. Girl, I got hacked, and then I had a business page that had nearly 3,000 people on it, organically grown over years and years of pictures, contacts, memories on my personal and professional pages, just gone in a poof. And they never told me why. So I just logged on one morning and was fine, and then went to my dentist appointment, came back. Somebody had messaged me something, and when I tried to open their message, the whole Facebook just logged me out. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went to log back in. This account has been disabled. Click this help button if you think we have made a mistake. Yeah, clearly you did. I clicked the button, and then they asked me for a picture of my driver's license to prove it's really me. I'm like, it's really me. Well, this account has been disabled because you have violated our community standards. This decision will not be reversed. This happened to thousands of people. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. And I couldn't create any new accounts. It was like a hard ban. Every time I tried to open up a new account, my IP address was blocked. So anytime I tried to open up a new account, no matter what email I used, it would shut it down. Now, because Facebook and Instagram are connected, when I lost my Facebook page, I lost my Instagram page too.
Oh no.
I was like, ain't nobody got time for this. Like, it was such a headache for like nearly 2 years. I could not get on Facebook. It was like a year and a half. I could not get on Facebook. Now luckily I had multiple Instagram pages. So I used to be a fitness instructor and I had to use the Instagram account I have right now used to be my fitness Instagram account. Because I just had to change the name of that one and use that because I couldn't use my girl. It was a headache.
Wow.
It was a headache. And I say all that to say that you all better build y'all email lists. Y'all better have some other kind of way to connect with your people in case Zuckerberg be on his cycle and start tripping one day, or any of these. When you're on these social media platforms, as wonderful as they are, as convenient as they are, you are renting that space. That's not a space that you own. And so anything like that can happen to you and your whole platform get yoinked in an instant is not fun. So now I'm back on there, but that experience like changed how I move on social media. It did, because I'm like, I don't like that anybody has the power to just, snatch your platform one day. So I'm engaging with email more. I'm engaging with other things more. Email addresses is where it's at. Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. You own that list.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you. I definitely agree. You do not own any of these platforms. You are actually the product on there.
That part.
Yeah. So, but I mean, building your own community is such a powerful way to build your brand as well. You know what I mean? If you have a core message and you have a set of people that, want to come along for the ride as you build whatever your mission is out, get a Slack channel, get there's circle.com, circle something. It's called Circle something. It's a membership platform. Okay. Mighty Networks is another one, and I, really try to filter the people off of social media and bring them into your ecosystem. Yeah.
Now, what are some tips you have for doing that besides the Mighty Networks and the different things? Just some other practical things people can do to kind of pull people into their real estate. Like, I try to direct people to my websites as much as I can and subscribe to my email list.
Yeah. Definitely want to get them on some type of email list so you could continue to contact them and they could be up to date with what you have going on when you have, an event. If you have a training coming up and you want to invite people, you post it on social media, 2 or 3 people might see it.
Because of the algorithms.
Right? That stuff changes all the time, but email is email. And if you have an active list and you're constantly emailing, then people will get it and people, the interested one will open it and things like that. So definitely I would say, create like some type of freebie or a resource or something to entice people to opt into your email address so that, and it may have it, of course, centered around whatever your brand is going to be all about so that you get the right people. And then use that to build community. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome stuff. All right, so let's start to wrap up. Let's talk about how people can work with you, because this woman clearly knows her stuff.
Yeah, I know a little something.
little something about a little something. And so if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, I need her help because I am struggling over here with my personal brand, or, I just graduated and I want to get my career going and I know I need some brand help, how can they connect with you?
Absolutely. So they can find me on LinkedIn. Okay. Melanie L, Denny, personal branding consultant. That's my name on LinkedIn. So you can find me there. I'm always there. I'm always posting over there. My messages get checked often. So you can reach me there for sure. You could email me, Melanie at resume-evolution.com. Or you could book a call. Okay. www, you got to put the 3 W's, resume-evolution.com/let's chat, one word, and book a call and let's talk about it. I have the Empowered Presence program. I have it as a program. It's a 6-week one-on-one. We go in there and we get deep. Surface won't suffice. I have Empowered Presence as a course, DIY. So you can go in there and knock out the modules, get the work done on your own, and then you get one call with me. Or you can get some LinkedIn optimization services as well. So if you're interested in any of those things or content written for you on your behalf, in your voice to build your personal brand, I also offer that as well. So, yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, you just said something. I know we're supposed to be wrapping up, but you just said something that triggered another question that I gotta ask.
Yes, ma'am.
You said, materials written for you in your voice. And I thought, okay, there's a whole other thing out here. And you probably know where I'm going with this, and that is AI.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing people make personal branding mistakes in terms of AI? And let's talk about that a little bit.
Yes. So AI is great. I love AI. I actually use ChatGPT to help me with a couple of things here and there. Mm-hmm. What I tell my folks is use AI, but don't use it in a form that it will replace you, because it cannot.
Yeah.
Right. And I've seen so many comments. I've seen so many posts that I could tell a mile away it was AI copy paste. It uses the same phrases, unleash this. It uses the same emojis with the stupid rocket ship. And, it's just the tone. It's very wordy. And I feel like now more than ever, people want the real, because we're getting all type of catfish going on with the deep fakes and the AI. You don't know what's real anymore. And so if you allow AI to just take over, now everybody going to sound the same. We're all going to sound like robots.
Yes.
So for me,
that's
I feel
why
like
I was scared of it for a long time. I just now started getting into it. But I was scared of it. I was like, I want to be me.
Yes, but you can
like a robot.
train it. You can train it to like speak in your voice. If you give it stuff that you have written, feed it that, and then say, okay, this is my tone. Do you understand? This is my tone. Yes. Okay, cool. Everything you write from now on needs to be in this tone. And even then, it's still not going to be 100% you, but at least you have a starting point.
Yeah.
That you can use to tweak versus, starting from scratch or copy pasting what AI wrote, because it's not going to be you at all. Little phrases you use, the verbiage your tone. I'm very sarcastic. I'm very in your face. I'm very direct, and AI keeps it fluffy and light. And I'm like, I would never say it like this. So you just got to, and again, going back to what I was saying at the beginning, you got to know who you are. Yeah. You got to know how you speak. You got to know your nuances and the things that, you say and how you say it, to be able to even tweak what AI wrote. If you don't have that sense of identity, again, you're going to be like looking crazy.
Yep. Good stuff. I'm glad we had to put that in there, because woo child, AI done threw a monkey wrench in everything. It's made a headache for educators, because now they got to tell their students to look, don't get kicked out of this school for plagiarizing because you wrote your paper with AI.
Yeah. It's crazy out here. But I have heard too that Google is going to start dinging websites for AI generated content in websites and blogs and stuff like that. So we still got to be careful, because it's great, but again, people are using it and copy pasting, and it's like, tweak that thing. What's wrong with you?
So use it wisely. Use wisely. It'll spit you out a whole thing, but like she said, go in there and tweak it, make it yours. Child, I'm about to. How old are you, Melanie? I'm 43, so I'm like, the Gen X in me is just like, this is too much. This.
I turned. I'm 41, and
okay.
I just turned 41 a few months back, and I'm like, what were we? So we were watching last night with my husband, The Circle. It's a Netflix show, and it's based on like popularity, and they're contestants in like separate apartment buildings. They're in the same building, but different apartments. And all they're doing is chatting with each other on a screen. So some people are going in as themselves, because basically at the end, they vote for the most popular person. And at the end, the most popular person wins like a big prize. That's the premise of the show. So we've been watching. This is like season, I think 4 or 5 right now. And last night, one of the contestants was literally an AI bot. So these people don't know. We don't know, because it's all virtual. It's just chatting. There's just pictures. So
Don't
there's an
tell me
AI
the AI
generated
bot ended
picture.
up winning.
Well, we don't know yet. It's just the season
Oh,
just started.
oh my
But this
God.
episode 2, and we're like, this is crazy, the world that we're in. Like, this is now. This is not some movie. This is today, right now. The AI is in the competition, and the people have no idea
that they competing against the computer.
It's literally a box. It's literally
Girl.
a black box on a table, and they're in there typing. Yeah, woo! I'm so excited to be here with y'all today. Da, 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 da.
That is.
We were like, okay, this is crazy. Like, are we old for real? Because this is life.
I feel so get off my lawn right now. Like, I feel so ancient. Like, yeah. I don't know. And I know the people, if we're like having issues with this and we're in our early 40s, I know people in their 50s and 60s are just looking at the world like this is so unserious right now. Like, how are we supposed to navigate through all of this? Yeah. So if some of y'all are listening, my boomers and people like that, my people born in the 70s and stuff, you're listening and you're having a hard time, you need a brand refresh. But trying to figure out what all these young whippersnappers are doing is driving you cuckoo. Go see Miss Melanie. She gonna help you. She gonna help you, but don't wing it. Don't wing it. Have you ever seen baby boomers trying to figure out social media and doing it all wrong? We're like, oh my God, give me your phone.
Yeah. It's Facebook.
Yes.
It'd be Facebook. Because that's what the old people.
Yes. Yes. That is the old people's network. Child, I remember when my daddy first got on Facebook, I was like, oh my God. Like, Daddy, when you like things, everybody can see. Everybody can see. Everybody can see. You want to keep that in mind when you like pitch. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the topic, but girl, yeah. Well, this was so much fun. I hope you guys have gotten some amazing tips and been encouraged. What your brand is. That was a really big takeaway for me, is your personal brand versus reputation. There's a difference, and the difference is intentionality. Love that. And how to go about building your brand. Don't just start with the content. Okay. And another big takeaway is, because I take notes. Another big takeaway that I took from this, and I hope you did too, was the power of vulnerability. People want to hear from you. People want to hear your struggles, your triumphs, and don't be afraid to tell your story. It helps people to relate to you. So good stuff all the way around. Thank you so much for being with us. We truly appreciate it.
I had a blast. So I'm definitely glad that we were able to make this happen. Appreciate you, all that you do.
Thank you so much. And you guys go ahead and subscribe to the Empowered Presence podcast. You will love it. I got to go catch up on today's episode because I didn't get to watch it. She broadcasts live on LinkedIn too. So yeah, check her out. And where is it? It's on LinkedIn, it's on YouTube. And where else can they find the podcast?
The audio only version is on Apple and Spotify and all the other places that you could get podcasts.
Awesome. So check that out as well. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if this episode has blessed you, which I'm sure it has. Thanks for tuning in. Keep living victoriously. Bye, y'all.